Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I discuss all things human design. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the G Center found within the human design chart. If you've been following along for a while, then you may have already seen my root, solar plexus, spleen, sacral, and ego energy center videos. And if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I've linked several resources in the description box below where you can learn more about human design for free. Throughout this video, I will be referencing the textbook, the definitive book of human design, which was co-written by the founder of human design, Ra Uru Hu, as well as my personal notes. The purpose of this channel and this video is to make human design more accessible from our real life experience. And in no way is this the end all to the work. This is simply just a supplement to the work and a fun way, I hope, in understanding more about human design and how it applies to our everyday life. If you like this video, I would super appreciate a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing as I put out 2 new videos each week, and I cannot wait to share with you more on human design. All right, so the G Energy Center. The G Energy Center governs our blood and our liver and is responsible for our identity, love, and direction. There is so much to be said about the G Energy Center, and without going on a long tangent, I'm going to focus on the defined versus undefined G Energy Centers. If you have a defined G Energy Center, meaning that this is colored in because you have a channel that is created through one of the other energy centers, then you are usually pretty good with direction. You don't get lost quite often, you know where things are, and if you're in a store and you're looking to buy cereal, you remember that you're there to buy cereal. Now, when it comes to the undefined G Energy Center, you may be more prone to losing your keys, forgetting where you're going, and if you find yourself in a store and you're meant to buy cereal, you may find that you actually forget or that you get a little bit distracted. This is not a bad thing, it's just that whenever we have an undefined energy center in our human design chart, we magnify the energy of those around us. So with an undefined G energy center, you may be prone to really getting stuck in the moment and distracted in the present moment. It's like the present moment really sucks you in, and sometimes you can forget where you were going or what you were doing. Again, not a bad thing, just something to be aware of, especially when it comes to things like your house keys, for example. Having a system in place to know where your keys are at all times will prevent you from losing track of them. And again, this is not necessarily an end all. There's a lot to be said here. Oftentimes our open or undefined G energy centers become defined in environments and we don't experience this. Also, some of us with a defined G energy center also experience losing their keys often. So these are just meant to be a few examples and they are by no means the end all. All right, let's get into the gates. I'll be starting with gate 1 and then moving clockwise with gate 13, gate 25, and so on. I highly recommend having your chart out for this, and if you're looking to skip ahead to a specific gate, I've actually linked timestamps in the description box below. Okay, starting with gate 1. Gate 1 is the creative, the gate of self-expression. If you have a gate 1, you may be more prone to repurposing items and reusing items and finding different ways to use things around the house. For example, let's say your blender breaks down. Some people might just throw away the blender, but if you have a gate 1, you might use this as a water pitcher or a flower vase. You are likely to repurpose the broken blender. If we move on to gate 13 makes me laugh so much because I have it and I can really resonate with it. The gate 13 is the fellowship of man, the gate of the listener. And those with a gate 13 often do come off as great listeners, but usually it's to strangers. So let me know in the comments below if you have this experience, but usually with a gate 13, you might be just trying to purchase something at the store and all of a sudden the cashier responds and tells you their entire life story. And you're just trying to buy a chocolate or buy something and you feel like you've been given all of this personal information about this complete stranger. This is actually pretty normal and it's one of my aha moments when it comes to human design, understanding that I have this energy and understanding that this is something that is not uncommon. What's important to remember here is that just because someone tells you something, you do not need to respond. So even though they might tell you something really personal or really difficult, it is not your responsibility to come up with a response in the moment. It's great that you're able to be a listener for this person, but don't carry that weight. As we move on, we get to gate 25, and I am going to keep referencing more about personal experiences with the GCenter, mainly because I have almost all of my GCenter defined apart from gate 2. So I just want to preface that I'm having an open throat moment, but the gate 25 is really one of my favorite gates. In the textbook, the gate 25 is the gate of innocence, the gate of the spirit of the self. And when I think about the gate 25, I see it as the inner child. I almost feel like it's my duty to bring this innocence, this childlike innocence and happiness into serious situations. So for example, if you have a gate 25 and you're off to a serious meeting at work and everyone is super serious and you feel like the room is tense, someone at the gate 25 might crack a joke or might throw in something that's less serious to the conversation in order to lighten things up a bit. I love the gate 25 energy. And another example I have is those of the gate 25 might feel like they never actually grow up. What I mean by that is we're taught that we're supposed to dress formally, wear high heels when we're older, have a corporate job, be serious, be grown up. And I can say with full confidence that it never hit me that I wanted to wear high heels to work or feel like a grown up, nor do I feel like a grown up. In fact, I feel that the older I get, the more childish I get, or the more inner child energy I like to bring into my reality. Gate 46 is pushing upward. It is the gate of determination of the self. And as I have this one, I can say from my own experience, this is a really interesting gate. It has to do with everything physical. And when I mean everything physical, I don't just mean our physical appearance and how we look and how we feel about our bodies, but I mean communication, touch, the vibration of our voice, how we use our voice, everything physical. It is one of the love gates in human design, and I won't be going into the love gates in this video for the purpose of time and not digging too much on another subject. But when I say love gate, I don't mean romantic love. I actually mean universal love. And the gate 46 is all about embracing your own self, having self-love, having self-worth, and showing up for yourself so that you can actually inspire others to also have self-love. You actually encourage others to have self-love by being a role model or example of what that looks like. And as I mentioned, having this, I've seen it through my own transformation, understanding how to love myself so that I can be an example to others for them to love themselves as well. That was a bit of a tongue twister, so I hope that came out okay. And now we will move to gate number 2. As I mentioned, gate number 2 is the only one that I don't have defined in my G energy center. And gate 2 is the receptive. It is the gate of the direction of self. And what I think about when I think about the gate 2 is really, in a way, it kind of sounds funny, a product designer or product manager. These are people that can take an idea or a vision and make it into a reality. They really understand the physical plane, how it works, how materials work. And so people can come to those with a gate 2, describe an idea or thought, and then that gate 2 can actually implement it. I think this is a super cool gate, and it's so fun when I'm working with clients and they tell me later on that they actually are a product designer or a product manager, or let's say, for example, an architect, someone who has to design something or work off an idea and make it into a reality. The next gate is gate 15. Gate 15 is modesty, the gate of extremes. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I talk all the time about this gate and the extremes that I have been through. The trick with this gate is to actually embrace the extremes and not question them. And when I think about extremes, I usually like to think about the workplace environment, because those with a gate 15 often have had a lot of interesting jobs that from the outside might seem confusing and unaligned, and why would they switch careers all the time? However, when they stop questioning this and they embrace that their soul has chosen to have multiple careers or different opportunities that are not related, then it does become aligned and people do stop questioning it. From my own personal experience, my first job was actually in a neuroscience lab. I had studied physics in college. I then went on to start a recruitment agency. I had a hardware company, I worked in software, and today I obviously do human design and I have a full-time job in a crypto company. I love that I have done so many different careers, and I always like to remind people that just because I've done a lot of different careers doesn't mean that I changed throughout all of these careers. Throughout all of my careers, I've always been working with people and I love working with people. However, how I work with people has always been a little bit different. Another favorite example of mine when it comes to the Gate 15 is a personal friend of mine who started off as an accountant and then much later in life decided to become a DJ. So now his full-time career is a DJ, and previously he was an accountant. So imagine telling your friends and those around you that you're gonna go from being an accountant to a DJ. It's an extreme, but it's an extreme that can be embraced, and that is really one of the cool things about this gate. The next gate is Gate 10, and Gate 10 is treading, the gate of the behavior of the self. This is an extremely interesting gate, especially as you dive into the intricacies and the different lines that are represented with the Gate 10. However, on a high level, the Gate 10 is all about loving life and showing others what it is to love life. These people are often overly optimistic and they're always seeing the better side of things. What's important is that sometimes life is not amazing, and that's okay. We go through ebbs and flows, and understanding that when life is not perfect, it's okay, and it's okay to experience times where we're not always super optimistic. But overall, the Gate 10 is about showing people what it is to love life and bringing in transformation through behavior. I have a lot of thoughts to say on this, but again, I want to be mindful of your time. And if you're curious to learn more about the Gate 10, let me know in the comments below and I'll see about making a whole nother video on just the Gate 10. The last gate is Gate 7, the Army, the gate of the role of the self in interaction, which is quite a mouthful. Gate 7 is really this energy that is able to understand the capabilities of others and lead them. And I often think it's super funny when I'm discussing the Gate 7 with a client, especially when they let me know that they've always been the team lead on a project and they're always good at knowing who would be good at what, as well as those that tell me later on that they've worked in recruitment or they've been a recruitment manager and it's something that just works really well for them. They have this natural talent and way of knowing who would be good at what in different situations. That's all today for the gates found within the G Energy Center. Just to quickly recap, I spoke about Gate 1, those of you that are naturally creative and really good at repurposing things. Gate 13, the listeners of the group who literally receive all sorts of information, especially from strangers. Gate 25, that inner child energy that never wants to grow up and brings a little fun to serious situations. Gate 46, which is all about the physical self in every aspect and how to embrace it and then show others what it is to love every aspect of the physical self. I spoke about Gate 2, those of you that are really good at taking an idea and making it into a reality. I spoke about Gate 15, the extremes that someone with a Gate 15 might go through. However, these are extremes that should be embraced and they are often pretty fun, and there is nothing to be ashamed of if you have a Gate 15 and you find yourself doing lots of things that are on opposite ends. Gate 10, which is the always optimistic person in the group, ready to bring light and show us what it is to love life even when things are not going super well. And lastly, Gate 7, the army leader, or what I like to think of as the recruitment manager, those that are really good at understanding the capabilities of others and helping them see this as well. That's all for today's episode on the G Energy Center. If you have any of these gates defined in your chart, let me know in the comments below what you think and what your experience has been. And before I go, I want to let you know that June 21st, I will be hosting a free workshop on human design in the workplace. So if you're interested in learning how you can implement human design in the workplace with actionable tools, I will link those details below. I'm super excited to continue sharing human design with you. And if you want to continue learning, please consider subscribing to my channel as I aim to put out 2 new videos each week.